Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. My name is Salvador Briggman, and on this channel we talk about crowdfunding and more specifically how to actually help you reach your potential as an inventor, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. How do you reach your full potential? And I think that one of the coolest things, one of the most incredible opportunities we have nowadays is to be able to bring a new product into the world, to build a brand from scratch. Our ancestors didn't have that ability, but we now do with modern technology to make it much faster and much easier. So today I'm talking about how do you actually bring an invention into the marketplace? How do you commercialize a new invention, idea, product, or brand? How the heck do you do that? And I'm kind of breaking it down in my fashion when it comes to demystifying this for you. And also I'm going through it in a rapid fire manner. And it's coming up in just a second. All right, so let's get started. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and on this channel we talk a lot about crowdfunding. If you've been watching some of my videos before, thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up so other people know this is worth their time. But let's really get down to the brass tacks of this. How do we actually commercialize an invention? How do we take an idea and bring it into the marketplace? Well, the good thing is if you go back into human history, thousands and thousands and thousands of other people have done this at many different points in time. Whether that's the invention of the wheel, literally thousands of years ago, to the pyramids, to building other different military equipment, going from the bronze, right, to iron, to many different other ways of actually producing products. I think this is something that our forefathers and ancestors have done quite well. And I think that this is no secret. There are some secrets that go into this, but at the end of the day, this is something that anyone can do out there, no matter what your resource, no matter where you're from, no matter your experience level, you can do this. So let's first start with the idea. When you have that idea for an invention, this is really where, for most people, kind of dies on their lips, right? They don't really tell anyone, or if they do, that's kind of the end of it. Maybe they're having a cup of coffee with their friends, they're having a beer, they have an incredible invention idea, but then for whatever reason, they just kind of don't do anything with it. That's kind of where a lot of people just don't take action, quite frankly. But you are different. If you're watching this video, if you're getting the right information, if you're educating yourself, you are different, my friends. So it usually starts with the idea of some kind, but an idea is not enough when it comes to an invention. Eventually, you gotta get that idea out there onto a piece of paper, onto a product document, onto a page of some kind, so that way you can take that idea and really put that into reality. So if you do nothing else, the prerequisite for the first step to taking invention and really making that happen in the marketplace is you got to get the idea out of your head. That could be, for example, with a Word document, that could be with an Excel document, it could be with slides, or even just sketching it out. You need to get the idea out of your head. And more specifically, what problem does it solve? What are you actually accomplishing when it comes to the purpose of the product, the features, the functions? I have another great YouTube video out there on that, as well as a free course on how to create a product from scratch, which you can check out down below. Once that happens, you then have what's called intellectual property. Big word, right? Big, fancy, legalese kind of word. You have intellectual property. Now, it's assuming as well, of course, you've done a little bit of research and you've also looked into other potential inventions. Who else has maybe created products like this? Is there a patent on this? Is there a trademark for whatever you're trying to actually name this product, right? You do have to do a little bit of research, but I'm just gonna skip a little bit forward here in this process. I'm gonna assume you've done that research and you have a unique idea that the world has not yet seen. So you have an idea, and I would say the vast majority of people who kind of start with that particular process, they don't really wanna do very much work. They just kind of wanna make some money, right? They just wanna have that dough roll in with them, having to just lay back and not having to do anything. And I think for a lot of people out there, if you don't wanna do a lot of work, or like you're just trying to make some money off of this, a lot of people will think about licensing. Once they actually have a patent or the intellectual property or maybe even a prototype, they might think about how can I approach a bigger company that can actually commercialize this product, that can bring this product idea or this invention idea into the marketplace. And this will kind of fall under the umbrella, I would say, of licensing. So that's really when the most valuable thing that you have is your intellectual property. So if you're interested in that, you can go and you can learn more about that. In this video, I kind of want to gear this more so to the road that is less traveled. And I think that we have that great quote out there by Robert Frost. And I love writers, dude. Like, I'm a writer myself. I've written 10 books on different subjects in crowdfunding and business. And one of the great quotes out there by Robert Frost is that sometimes you have this road that appears in the woods, and sometimes you decide to take that road which is less traveled. And that's because it's a little bit more treacherous, it's a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more exciting, but also the payoff is massive. right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about instead of just taking the IP of the intellectual property and trying to license it or get a bigger company to, shove this down their throat and hope that they end up producing this product and maybe even just gets killed or something like that. Instead, for the people that actually want to do the work, actually want to push through those obstacles, actually want to show up, take responsibility for this, grow a brand from scratch, impact the world, your other option is to actually commercialize this yourself, to take that invention idea and to make a product out of it that you sell globally, worldwide, or you run a Kickstarter campaign for and you raise tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, like the people that have on my podcast, like my coaching students, like the people that I've worked with, etc. I'm going to tell you a little secret as well. Just because you take the road that is less traveled, and just because you're building this product yourself, doesn't mean at some point in time you can't sell this product to one of your competitors, to someone who also is in a space who maybe has a bigger brand of some kind. Doesn't mean you can't also raise money for this, for example, and build a massive company or massive brand if you want to. So the reason why I talk about this particular strategy is because I think there's just way more leverage and way more opportunity when you actually go out there into the marketplace and you build a brand from scratch and you get that product out there and you commercialize it, because you can sell the company, you can earn money and revenue and do this full time. You can raise capital if you want to, if it's going really well. You have a ton of different options that are available to you, and you don't even have to spend very much money doing this, because you can run a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign. You can raise the funds for things like injection molding costs, or for the initial order quantity if you're purchasing this from a manufacturer, right? There's so many ways to make this process easy as pie. So the three options, if you have decided to build a product from scratch, to take that invention idea and to really commercialize it, take that invention and to bring it into the marketplace, you have three options, at least that I'm aware of, or that I would say the most common options when it comes to this. The first is you can build a company. You can build a brand from scratch, literally from the ground floor. You can set up your own company so you can work from home, so you can work where you want to, so you can be your own boss, you can hire other people, you can scale this operation so you're selling thousands of products around the world. You're working maybe with a fulfillment company to easily ship out all those products and deal with handles, and you don't have to deal with returns and all that kind of stuff. There's so many easy ways in which you can turn this into a full-fledged business if you have demand. And even if you're not sure yet if you have demand, there are ways of actually gauging that demand, doing things like a pre-launch, doing things, example, like doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign to gauge the market's receptiveness to this particular product invention. So I would call this building a company from revenue. A lot of people, when they're getting started, they might also use things, for example, a business credit card or a loan or their savings, and they can really begin to own a big piece of the pie, right, of what they're building. And they're building the company through revenue, through profit, and through an initial injection of capital, usually maybe coming as well from their friends and family or other partners which they are working with. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. The second way is a little bit more sophisticated, but I want to give you all of the options, right? If you're really trying to upgrade your life, if you're trying to change and have more financial freedom in your life, if you're trying to not only do that, but also produce products that you're proud of, to do something that you love doing, right? Which is designing something new, getting it out there, and having people around the world fill their home with your products or use it in their everyday life. I think you owe it to have all of the options, all the tools and the war chest and the arsenal at your disposal. So the second way is to build a company as well, but to raise capital for that company. So I'm not talking necessarily about a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, which I'll talk about next, but really I'm talking about raising investment capital for that company. In order to do that, you have to have a larger vision. You have to have also an idea when it comes to the market size, the potential. You have to have a slide deck, a business plan, and you have to be willing to give away a percentage of equity in your company in order to raise a boatload of capital. Now you can do that from private investors. You can do that doing an equity crowdfunding campaign using a platform like WeFunder or Start Engine or Republic or whichever, but you have to be willing to give away a percentage of equity typically when you're doing an investment capital raise. So this might be from angels. This might be from a venture capitalist. This might be from a group of angels which you put together, or high net worth individuals, also known as accredited investors. But you could, for example, raise $500K to actually start this company if you already have the prototype, if you already have the problem and solution, and you maybe even have a little bit of market traction. There's no reason why you can't raise investment capital to build a big company, not just a company that supports you and maybe a couple of employees, but really something you're going big for when it comes to that. The third way when it comes to taking an idea or invention and actually bringing this to the marketplace is using crowdfunding. Okay, so we touched on crowdfunding when it came to equity crowdfunding, but when I'm saying crowdfunding, what I'm really referring to is more like a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign. So these platforms exist online for creators just like you to be able to raise money from people that are interested in owning the product. So let me kind of break that down a tiny bit. Someone comes onto this platform and they see a really cool invention, really something new, innovative, and not only do they like the product, but they also really believe in the creator. They want to help them. They want this to exist in the world, and they love as well maybe the brand values that are behind this. So what do? They decide to pre-order it, right? They decide to back this campaign on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So with a crowdfunding campaign, you have a specific funding amount that you're going for. For example, you're trying to raise like $100K or something like that. You have a funding duration when that campaign is actually going to be live, maybe for 30 days, maybe for 60 days, whatever it is. And during that span of time, you have all these people that are on this marketplace, that are on this platform, backing that campaign, saying, hey, I want this to exist in the world. And you must hit or exceed your funding goal. And if you do, then you get to receive all those funds which you've raised. You can take that money and you can go out there and you can purchase the minimum order quantity when it comes to your product. Or it can help as well with other expenses like injection molding costs if you're creating, for example, a plastic product of some kind. And you can also use crowdfunding to take this invention, this idea which you had, which was just once an idea in your head, that you eventually got out there onto the page. You have sketching, maybe you have some CAD drawings, you have some 3D realistic renderings, maybe you made a prototype even ideally, maybe like a quick and dirty, or a prototype that you worked with a manufacturer to actually make, or even reached out to the manufacturer who's going to handle your initial order run. They've given you a quote, and now you're really primed to be able to take some photos and videos maybe of your initial prototype, get this out there with a crowdfunding campaign, raise money for this, and then you're going to have a ton of customers as well around the world. Because remember, you're raising money for a pre-order campaign. You can then ship out that product to those people around the world. They can try it out. They can tell you what they like about it, what they don't like. It's almost like your first user testing group, and you can get reviews and testimonials, which further snowballs your entire marketing efforts. So we just went over a couple of easy ways to commercialize an invention, a new product idea, to take an invention and to really bring that into the market. What do all of these have in common? Well, the first thing that they all have in common is that you gotta be willing to take action. If you're not willing to take action, my gosh, your ideas are just gonna literally die on your lips, right? You can tell people, you can be excited about it, you can say, look, this is the most incredible invention. You know what's gonna happen? Years are gonna go by, you're gonna see someone else actually make that product, and then you're gonna be like, gosh, I told you this was a good idea, I should have done that. And this happens again and again and again. And for people that don't take action, I'll be honest with you, I don't really have a lot of sympathy. At the end of the day, you gotta take action if you want results to show up in your life. If you wanna reach your full potential, gosh, you gotta be willing to push through that pain barrier of sometimes working a little bit after work, working, heaven forbid, on weekends, maybe going to Starbucks for an hour and doing a little bit of research instead of going on the beach here in Miami and hanging out, which I love doing as well, right? But you gotta be willing to actually buckle down and fit some time into your schedule and take this sucker seriously. But if you are willing to do that, there is a proven path to success, whether you're going the licensing route or the more traditional route when it comes to bringing a new product into the world. For example, building your own company off of e-commerce, building your own company off of investment capital, building your own company, launching a new product or brand, doing a crowdfunding campaign like Kickstarter. You can, using these methods, get validation when it comes to the actual idea in the real world. You can get the funding as well if you're doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo to go out there and produce this product. And you can get feedback on this and you can decide very quickly in a matter of months, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't want to focus on this idea. And you know what? I'm going to try out a different idea. Or, wow, this went way better than I ever imagined. This is so cool. I'm totally going to spend the next year and a half buckled down, really serious, even putting some more money into marketing, taking this, to the next level. So that way I can really make the most of my potential. So as you can tell, I'm a fan of quick decision making and taking action. And if you are as well, first of all, I got a great free course for you down below talking about how to actually create your own product from scratch. I also have some free videos out there on YouTube, which you should watch, how to actually make a product if you've never done it before, or if you have and just kind of want a little more clarity on the process. And in addition, for those of you that are interested and that are serious about kind of putting this on turbocharge, really supercharging this entire process, that you have an accountability partner. So you're making progress every step of the way, because when you're going through this, you don't really know what you don't know. And sometimes you're spending money on things that you don't need to be, or you're kind of putting different pieces in part of the process, which you shouldn't be, or you're doing it too early, right? So a lot of the times with my coaching students, that's really how I help and aid them and guide them through this process. So if you've ever wanted a mentor, someone to kind of lead you when it comes to this particular process of getting a new product out there, building a brand, maybe even doing a crowdfunding campaign for this and raising capital, I'm your guy, and I've done this with a lot of other folks, and it's from many different categories as well. However, not everyone is ready for that, because you gotta be serious about this. And if you are, I have a great option down below. You can check out at crowdcrux.com/coaching. You can go there, you can fill out my form, tell me a little bit about you, what are you trying to achieve, what are you trying to do, and really at the end of the day, what does success mean to you? And we can get an individual coaching call scheduled ASAP. If you do nothing else from watching this video, well, first of all, give me a thumbs up and come subscribe so you can be a part of this community of action takers, the crowdfunding demystified community, and also my website, crowdcrux.com. We got a lot of great stuff on there. I also have a podcast, which I do weekly. Are you willing to exhibit the traits of someone who will be successful? Are you willing to show up? Are you willing to put in those nights and weekends? Are you actually willing to take this idea and not just be an idea in your head, but actually take action on this, actually get this out there on the page and really be willing to improve the world? It is hard work, my friends, but think about the fruits of your labor and think about the way in which you can impact people worldwide. It's not easy to make an impact, but I'm telling you, it is certainly worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.